Hello, welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers, your statistics and sports podcast that we haven't done stats in a while. I am your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I am Corwin.
And we're back inside. We're not recording in the cold, wet night. It's the middle of the day on February 5th, and we are back to being not outside. Doesn't it feel good?
It does feel good.
So we usually record Tuesday nights. We mix it up with this one. It's Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but I'd say most typically Tuesday nights. And we always complain that once we're done recording, big news breaks. And because we couldn't record Tuesday night and it left us to record on Wednesday, big news broke after when we would have recorded was done. So thank God. And we have colossal news, which is also good because it took forever to fully form in the public sphere. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the Minnesota Twins, and the Boston Red Sox have engaged in a three-way trade in which the Los Angeles Dodgers receive from the Red Sox right fielder Mookie Betts and starting pitcher David Price, along with some cash considerations. The Minnesota Twins receive Kenta Maeda from the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Boston Red Sox receive outfielder Alex Verdugo from the Dodgers and relief pitcher or right-handed pitcher. No, I think it's relief pitcher. Brusdar Graterol from the Minnesota Twins. In addition to that, which is a smaller trade, although we will also get into it because it's just so interesting. The Dodgers have also traded outfielder Jock Peterson and outfielder Andy Pages to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim for second baseman Luis Rengifo. Whew.
Yeah, this was this was just a whole lot.
Yeah. Out the fucking blue. This shit. Goddamn. What the fuck?
Yeah, this is I mean, I honestly never expected him to be traded. I really thought it was I don't know, like it was one of those things where like it made sense that he was, but at the same time, I just, you don't expect it to happen.
It's one of those things people had talked about so much that you just go like, I mean, I guess they could, because like anything can happen. But at the same time, it's like, it's Mookie fucking Betts. We spent so much time debating the other day if he was going to get a $400 million contract because out of all the players in baseball not named Mike Trout, he'd be the most likely to get it. Like, he's fucking amazing. Just to read off his hardware for you: MVP, 4-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger, a batting title, a Major League Player of the Year award, a Wilson Overall Defensive Player of the Year award, and a 2018 World Series champion. That's not a guy you usually trade going into his age 27 season.
Yeah, this is just again, it's crazy. I love the Dodgers in this. I don't hate what the Red Sox got. I mean, they shed that payroll. They got their prospects. They got two very good prospects. I don't know what the Twins were doing involved in this trade. I don't know why they were even a part of this. I don't know why they would make this trade. I get why they made this trade. It doesn't really make sense. I don't know, man.
All right, so taking it one little bit at a time here, because as we've said, there's just so much to digest from this. The Dodgers, I think their advantage is obvious. They basically just upgraded from Jock Peterson to Mookie Betts.
Yes. And then upgraded from Kenta Maeda to David Price.
Yeah, and they also, I guess, Alex Verdugo you could include in it. They combo got rid of Alex Verdugo and Jock Peterson for Mookie Betts, and then Kenta Maeda for David Price. So their intrigue in this is very obvious. If you combine Jock Peterson and Alex Verdugo's 2019 WAR, you get 6.4. Mookie Betts' WAR last year was 6.8, which is more,
quite a bit,
which is astonishing. And also having, even if it was less by like a little bit, like if instead of 6.8, he had like 5.9 or 6.1, which is still less than those two players put together. Having 90% of two combined players' WAR is much better than having those two players. Like one 4-win player is probably more valuable than two 2.0 win players, depending on where those positions are located. So, yeesh, and the rest of your team makeup. But in the Dodgers' case, their team is very good. So you take what you can. You don't mind getting rid of a couple redundant players here.
No, I don't know how any Dodgers fan could ever look at this trade and be like, "Oh shit, I like those guys. I'd rather keep them."
Yeah, absolutely not. So off the jump, they've already improved in their position player sphere. The David Price part of it is kind of funky because the reason he was moved was as a result of payroll issues. The Red Sox right now are in the midst of trying to pay less money to people. In this year upcoming, Mookie Betts was due $27 million, as we knew from his arbitration settlement or case. No, he didn't even did he even go to ARB? I don't remember. I forget. I think he did, and I think he won. No, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. He's getting $27 million for an ARB player. It was a record. That plus David Price's $32 million he was making this year. That means that the Red Sox just moved, in theory, before we get to the cash considerations, they just got rid of $58 million between two players. So from that perspective, it's like, oh, okay. Cold-bloodedly, I can understand. But wow. Now, with cash considerations, David Price, I believe I think it's a 50-50 split from what I'm looking at here on Spot Track, where the Red Sox are paying half and the Dodgers are paying half. So each team will owe $16 million. So instead of the Red Sox relieving themselves $58 million, $59 million, 32 plus 27. Sorry, 59? Did I say 59? $59 million. They're instead got rid of $43 million of payroll this year, plus the additional $32 million for David Price's following 2 years of his contract, since he signed through the 2022 season. So in terms of the all valuable flexibility that we have heard so much about recently, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, oh, fuck, bud. Like, really? Are you sure? Because the last time the Red Sox won the World Series in a year ending in 19 and then traded away their future Hall of Fame right fielder, it did not go well for them. And they are on a very downward trajectory.
Yeah, granted, this is going to be one of those trades that helps build up their farm system, but outside of Gray Toro now, they don't have much, if anything. So I don't see they are projected to do much of any competing in the next couple of years.
Yeah, they're last year they finished with 84 wins, so they went 84-78. Do you think they finish above 500 this year?
I think they'll still finish above 500, but I don't think they're really in consideration for a playoff spot.
You know what's sad is I don't think they do.
You don't think they finish above 500?
I actually don't. The Rays got better. The Yankees got better. I can't imagine the Orioles will get worse. So I'm going to say that they will get, 5 wins better. Nothing crazy. And the Blue Jays got better. And the Red Sox got worse. And if all that separates them from being 500 is 3 losses going the other way, or 3 wins going the other way, I should say. That's not a lot, and they could certainly lose an extra 4 games to get them below 500.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to disagree with that, sentiment. I don't know if they fall enough to really hit that point. But if they fall, if they are below 500 at the end of the year, I can't say I'm going to be terribly surprised.
So the Dodgers absorb 6.8 WAR from Mookie Betts last year, plus 1.9 WAR from David Price last year. Can you believe Mookie Betts has more career WAR than David Price? David Price playing for 12 years, Mookie Betts playing for 6.
Okay, then yeah, no, I would not believe that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's true. So altogether, they have taken on an additional 8.7 WAR. But the Dodgers have lost, as I said, Alex Verdugo, Kenta Maeda, and Jock Peterson. Alex Verdugo and Jock Peterson combining for 6.4 WAR, plus Kenta Maeda's 1.8 gives them a total of 8.2. So they come out half a win on top in all that. Payroll higher, certainly, but an extra half a win. For where they're at right now, it definitely makes sense.
The Twins?
No, the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
they need to win as fast as possible.
Yeah, I honestly, I think this puts them, I know we talked about the Yankees being like the de facto favorites for next year. I think this puts the Dodgers right there in that tier. I think this is now a 2-horse race.
Yeah, no,
I know anything can happen, and it does every year, but these are 2 super teams now, and I don't know how anyone's going to be able to sniff, the level these 2 teams have. These 2 teams are going to reach next year.
Yeah, I will be surprised if anyone doesn't have their World Series prediction being Dodgers Yankees.
Right.
It's just so set up to be that. It's incredibly so.
God, I want to bring up the Dodgers depth chart while you say
yeah,
what you got.
Absolutely. So moving on to the Twins, because we'll finish with the Red Sox because there's more to say for certain. And I was going to bring up the Dodgers depth chart, but since you're already doing it, perfect. We'll get there when we get there. The Twin side of this, they lose a minor league starting pitcher or pitcher of some ilk.
He is projected as a starter right now.
All right, that makes more sense. Thank you. They lose a minor league starting pitcher to acquire a major league starting pitcher. So their engagement in this is relatively minimal, but impactful for them. Their division is not good, the AL Central, but at the same time, small adjustments are important, and the one issue the Twins had that everyone could blatantly see is starting pitching. They were basically diet Yankees. They had a really, really good lineup, but their pitching was and they lost a few starting pitchers. And so getting Kenta Maeda, who I know didn't post, earth-shattering numbers last year. I know it might not seem big, but it's an improvement and in an area in which they needed it. And so in that sense, it makes sense. There's not a lot to say, but that's it.
Yeah, so I have the Dodgers depth chart up here if you want to talk that real quick.
All right, let me see if I can work my way through it. So the outfield now is gonna be Cody Bellinger.
Yep.
Mookie Betts, which holy fuck, I mean, just those 2. And then who's in left field?
Do you want to work through it, or do you want to?
No, give me the left fielder.
AJ Pollock.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they signed him. So then, where the fuck is Enrique Hernandez? Is he listed as second base right now?
No, Gavin Lux is listed at second base. Number 2.
Okay, so it's Enrique. Yes, Gavin Lux, who's supposed to be very good. So I guess that means Corey Seager still at short. Gavin Lux is at second. Justin Turner's at third, and Enrique Hernandez is at first.
Max Muncy.
Oh, it's right, Max Muncy. Always forget about him. Okay, so and then
Hernandez is listed as the second, backup second baseman, third baseman, and then I guess the third first baseman. So
is he listed all in the outfield
again? I'm sorry?
Is he listed at all in the outfield? Because I know he plays out there too.
He is not. Chris Taylor seems to be the de facto fill-up for the outfield.
Yes. This makes sense. Will Smith, I'm assuming, is still catching.
Yes.
And then starting pitching will be Clayton Kershaw. They re-signed Alex. Well, they didn't re-sign. I guess it counts as re-signing. Alex Wood's there. Walker Buehler, David Price. Is there another guy listed?
There is. Young guy.
Oh, Justin May?
No, Julio Urias.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
So their starting five in order as listed is Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, David Price, Julio Urias, and Alex Wood. Which is
going from Fenway to Dodger Stadium might be. It could really, really help out David Price. Because a left-handed pitcher swinging into allowing right-handed batters to swing into the Green Monster is a massively different experience than pitching into the 380-foot power alley of Dodger Stadium.
I'd love to see a nice big. I know we don't necessarily want to call it a resurgence, but seeing David Price come back to being a de facto ace would be very exciting.
Yeah, as much as I kind of hate to say it because he's coming off playing for the Red Sox, a team I hate, and is now going to go towards the Dodgers, a team I generally dislike. Seems kind of silly, but at the same time, I've always kind of dug David Price, the dude. He's always seemed like a pretty stand-up guy outside of when he's giving Dennis Eckersley shit for seemingly no reason. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I think it'd be cool just to see if it's an opportunity he can seize, and I love it when players turn their careers around.
I agree.
It's always a little heartwarming.
And then just to close this out, in the bullpen, they have Kenley Jansen, Joe Kelly, Blake Trinan, Pedro Baez, Ross Stripling, and Caleb Ferguson as their top guys. So Dodgers are fucking stacked.
Yeah. I'd say that's a fair assumption there, big guy.
So do you want to?
That's right.
Do you want to compare this to the current Yankees depth chart?
Do you want to do like a 1-for-1 there?
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
All right, so at first, let's start with let's start with the outfield. Mookie Betts to Judge. I really want to say it's a push, but I think I got to give it to Mookie.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not much. I mean, it's Judge is a phenomenal right fielder, but Mookie Betts is just in a whole
much better
tier. Yeah.
Honestly, no, not even that. It's not even so much better. I would say Judge's ceiling is Mookie Betts, but the problem is Judge has played 1 full season and 2 injury-plagued seasons, and that to me is the big difference maker.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Center field isn't even a competition. It's Cody Bellinger of the Dodgers. Left field is going to be
against Brett Gardner, just for reference.
Yes, sorry, against Brett Gardner, since Aaron Hicks will start off the season on IL because he just had Tommy John surgery. Left field, I'm going to give to the Yankees for Giancarlo Stanton versus AJ Pollock. Giancarlo Stanton, who was injured most of last year, but at the same time is also a former MVP winner and very, very good at baseball. Whereas AJ Pollock,
the difference there is significantly higher for Stanton, over Pollock compared to Mookie and Judge.
Yeah, I'd say it's very fair. So overall, with 2 out of 3 going to the Dodgers, I'd say the Dodgers have the outfield. First base, Max Muncy versus Luke Voigt, I think is actually kind of a push.
Yeah, I would agree with the push.
Yeah, you might. If you argued with me that Muncy has the edge because he's lefty, I would say maybe, but not enough for it to really matter in my eyes. Second base is DJ LeMahieu against Gavin Lux, which as of right now, I'm going to actually give it to DJ LeMahieu only because he is the known quantity in that scenario, and the known quantity is very good. Although that opinion can certainly be changed by the All-Star game if Gavin Lux proves to be everything and more.
Right. That's exactly how I would put it. I mean, DJ LeMahieu is an All-Star caliber second baseman right now. Gavin Lux could be anything. He could be DJ LeMahieu. We don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly. Shortstop, I'm actually also going to give to the Yankees. I think Gleyber Torres at this point in his career is better than Corey Seager.
I agree. Same thing with the Stanton argument is, and Judge argument, I guess, is just Seager's just been so injured as of late that it's hard to say that he, can put up a season like what he did back when a couple years ago now, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
remember when it
2017, I
was.
think.
But
Ain't
yeah,
that some
I'd give
shit?
it to Torres.
Oh shit! I just got a notification that Ross Stripling is also going to the Dodgers. Also going to the Angels in the Jock Peterson trade.
Okay. I don't think that should affect the Dodgers
It
all
won't.
too much,
It
but I
won't.
think
He
that's
would have
a
been a
good
six
get
starter.
for the Angels.
Yeah, finally they get some pitching. We'll talk
Honestly,
about that
and
more.
he's one of those guys that you could stretch out as a starter if you needed to.
I think he was a starter for a while there.
He was, yeah. He
Yeah.
filled in for them with Dodgeritis.
I like that. All right, so we're at third base, which is Justin Turner versus Gio Urshela. This is a weird one because Gio Urshela is coming off by far the best season of his career, and Justin Turner is slowly getting worse. So it could be a push. That would be a best case scenario because I will not say that that Gio Urshela at any point is going to be better than Justin Turner. So I'd say best case scenario push. Most likely scenario, Justin Turner is still better.
Again, I agree with you completely.
So we'll
it's just
call
hard
that
to have a 1 year sample size compared to a guy with a significantly more than 1 year sample size, but is very much on the tail end of his career.
Yeah, it's like how much do you want to predict the decline of Justin Turner or the decline of any aging player versus the rise of any breakout candidate? So I will call it a slight Dodgers advantage, but on the whole, I give the Yankees the infield.
I agree.
And then catcher is also going to be weird because Gary Sanchez needs to be healthy. Because when he's healthy, he is good. When he's not healthy, he is the worst player in baseball. And Will
Chris
Smith.
Davis still exists.
It's close. And then Will Smith had a really nice first major league season, first complete year with the Dodgers last year. So I will basically put this in the same category I put the third base discussion, but flipped, where this season could end up with that position being a push. But if everything went right and both players play up to their potential, Gary Sanchez is the better player.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where Will Smith is such a young player, he could do anything next year, and just Gary Sanchez has been all over the place the past couple of years. But just raw talent is raw talent, and I got to give it to Sanchez.
Now the real question becomes this pitching. So can you read out the Dodgers again?
We should compare DH first.
Oh yeah, well, that's what's tough is the Dodgers play in the National League and the Yankees play in the American League, and not yet. They don't. The National League doesn't have that DH yet, but it's a coming, boy. It's a coming.
So I mean, we got to give this one to Andujar. So that's another win for the Yankees right there.
Yes, sir. Who would DH for the Dodgers? I would actually guess Max Muncy. And they put someone else at first.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where it's hard to say because they're not going to have a guy on their depth chart. They're not going to have a guy on their roster, to fill that position. So, it's hard to say who they'd fill in for, their backup second baseman.
The season they do it. All right. Starting rotation wise, it's actually for once tough. I say for once because the Dodgers seem to always have a good rotation, whereas the Yankees, that's not the case. The Yankees rotation is usually spotty. But this year, the Dodgers rotation, Corwin, could you read it again for me?
The Dodgers rotation is Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, David Price, Julio Urias, and Alex Wood.
All right. So I'm going to treat Buehler more like the ace than I would Kershaw at this juncture, just because I think it's more fair. Kershaw will likely be the opening day starter because he should be. But I would say at this point, with his, I don't want to overstate his decline, but his gentle decline, whereas Walker Buehler's massive assertion to dominance.
Mm-hmm.
Buehler versus Cole, that's tough. I
honestly
want
don't
to give
think
it to
is
Cole.
just because Cole, is the de facto, honestly, pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to even have that discussion. It'd be like comparing Mike Trout to Mookie Betts. I know it's a different argument, but it's like, yeah, you could argue, but one is just, one's clearly better. They're both
So
really great,
they are both really
but
good.
one's better.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like if you're the Dodgers and have Walker Buehler on your team, it's hard to say that like you significantly rather have Gerrit Cole because Walker Buehler is so good, but you also in a vacuum might rather have Gerrit Cole. It's tough. I'll give it to the Yankees, but I'm trying to be fair to the Dodgers here because Buehler is a phenomenal player. So that means second we'll do Clayton Kershaw against what I'm assuming is going to be Luis Severino, and that has to go to Kershaw.
Yeah.
As much as I love Sevy and Sevy's peak right now or his ceiling right now might actually be better than what Kershaw can put out this season. Sevy is coming off a year and a half of very questionable baseball. Needs to show that he's healthy and that he can be what he was in the first half of 2018, which again is a season and a half ago. So point Kershaw.
It's one of those things where Kershaw, again, is on the decline, but even then, his down year is, a great season for Severino.
Oh yeah, yeah. As a Yankee fan, I would gladly take Kershaw's year last year, if that was extrapolated out to Sevy's stats for this year.
Like honestly, like Kershaw's worst year might be good enough to be the ace for 28, 29 teams in baseball.
I definitely at least 25 of them, like for sure.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I think it's David Price, right?
Yep.
So that'd be David Price against, let's say, Masahiro Tanaka, and right
I
now
would have said Paxton, but sure. I mean, you would know better.
Yeah, it's one or the other. Let's put it this way: no order. David Price and Alex Wood versus Masahiro Tanaka and James Paxton. That's the Yankees all the way.
Yankees. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's a push between David Price and, maybe I'd give it Price over Tanaka. I might give it to Paxton over Price or call it a push. But the depth is so clearly in the Yankees' favor there.
Yeah. It's basically what you said. You can make arguments, but at the end of it, I think it goes to the Yankees. The fifth starter it obviously is not on the Dodgers depth chart, so it's tough to. Oh no, it's Arias, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be Arias.
He's actually their number 4, but again, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another.
That's true. So it'd be Arias against probably Jordan Montgomery. I would guess right now a combination of J Happ and Jordan Montgomery, which I don't even want to fucking guess, man. Julio Arias mostly worked out of the bullpen in the times I've watched the Dodgers play, and that leads me to lean towards a capable starter being better than him for an entire season. But those starters are old man J Happ and coming back from Tommy John surgery, Jordan Montgomery. And I just don't want to pick that. So I'm going to just call it a push.
I will say I'm going to go straight towards Arias. Just because I've had him on my dynasty team for several years, and that's, very clearly going to give me some bias towards him. But that also means that I have watched him pitch more than I've seen, a lot of other pitchers pitch. And he has the potential to be, I don't want to say an ace level starter, but he could easily be a number 2 once they stretch him out.
Yes. To be fair to Arias, having actually watched him pitch a little bit, he is phenomenal.
Yes. I mean, he had a 2.49 ERA last year, 85 strikeouts in how many innings? In 79 innings. I do think he could be a very, very good, like all-star caliber pitcher in the next few years. And I don't know, Montgomery coming back from injury, Ja Happ being a very old Ja Happ. It's what you would prefer there.
Yeah, I have a natural skepticism, as we all know from this show, which is why the only reason I'm not leaning heavily into the Urias hype train here. But at the same time, if I was forced to pick, which I'm not doing right now because no one is holding a gun to my head, I would probably go Arias. But at the same time, there are questions. How can you do over a full season? It's going to be a lot more innings, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a gentle push. On the whole, I would lean towards the Yankees, but not by a lot.
Yeah, I would agree with that just because of the depth of pitching, and I've been vocal about that being where I put more weight as a team. So yeah, I would put that. I would say the Yankees have the slightest edge. But as we all know, these are two of the most injured teams in baseball. The Dodgers, seemingly forever, and the Yankees, the last 2 years at least have been injury plagued for them. So we'll see how it actually turns out. I mean, if we have Mike Troutman and Clint Frazier starting right left field for them next year, and the Dodgers are starting their 5, 6, 7 starters because everybody's hurt, this could be a very different story. But healthy as a whole, slight edge to the Yankees.
Either way, the World Series is going to be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see who cheats to win it this year.
Oh, I can't wait to see what they start tapping on to find success. So I guess let's just kind of wrap up this one trade so we can get to the next one in a relatively timely fashion. So the Red Sox. So like we said, Dodgers came out very much so looking strong. The Twins, a mild upgrade, but still an upgrade. The Red Sox. Now they did shed payroll, which you can say is a good thing for future teams. You can say that they invested in MLB player futures, because they're going to have to sign more, I guess. They also now get Alex Verdugo, who I'm assuming will be starting in right field in place of Mookie Betts pretty immediately. And they also get Brusdar Graterol, who doesn't seem bad. And honestly, the Red Sox bullpen is miserable, so he'll probably also be on the major league roster with a relative immediacy. In 2019, his age 20 season, he played for 3 teams spanning AA and AAA. He went 7-0 with a 1.92 ERA. He pitched, that's 18 games. He had 1 save, 61 innings, a whip of 0.984. By all accounts, he's been very good thus far in his minor league career, especially these past 2 seasons in particular. So it seems like a worthwhile lottery pick, but that doesn't explain or give insight into what the Red Sox are going to be doing for the next 4 or 5 years. And that's what I can't figure out, because this is the last season of JBJ's rookie deal, and there's been no sign of movement on his end for an extension. So I would just operate under the assumption that he's probably gone. So that means your outfield is now missing one of the 3 best defensive pieces in baseball. It's also the bat won't be much different because his bat's just terrible. So you're not losing much out from there, but it leaves a big question mark in a very premium position. Their infield is a fucking mess on the right side. Their left side's fine between Xander Bogaerts and that fucking babyface dude I always forget the name of.
Rafael Devers.
Rafael Devers, thank you so much. But first base is who? Mitch Moreland again? For him to get hurt for 70 games? And second base is still not going to be Dustin Pedroia. That ship has definitely sailed. He might retire this year. So it's guy number 4? Who the fuck you got?
I just pulled up their depth chart. They have Mitch Moreland or Michael Chavez at first, and then Jose Peraza or Michael Chavez second.
Oof, Jesus, that's awful.
Yeah, not great.
And then their catching situation is still Christian Vasquez, who, to his credit, had a career year last season, but I also don't believe that that's who he's going to be this year because he's never done it before. There's no reason to think he's going to do it again. And Sandy Leon, who's only on the team because Chris Sale likes him.
I don't think he's on the team anymore.
Oh, is he not?
I'm pretty sure he's on the Indians.
Oh, so then that's even worse. And that brings us pretty much to the rotation, which just lost the two of the 1-2 punch, where it's now Chris Sale, Nathan Eovaldi, Eduardo Rodriguez, and whom?
And Martin Perez.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
And now Sale, I'm not going to give any shit to because he was hurt last season. Everyone gets hurt eventually. I feel like every pitcher has that season. He'll probably be fine, at least until proven otherwise. But Eduardo Rodriguez is not good. I know he won a bajillion games last year, but that was fucking weird even while it was happening because he's not great. And Nathan Eovaldi can't not be hurt. So I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. And there's no short-term fixes, or there's no short-term fixes for sure, outside of spending a ton of money, but also there's no long-term solution here either because their farm system is dirt. Like the two people they just got are probably going to be on the major league roster because there's just so many holes.
Yeah. I mean, Verdugo is probably going to be their starting right fielder. And Gratoral, I can't say I've followed him closely, but I can't imagine that they're going to have, that young of a guy be a starter for them day one, but he might have to.
At least be in the bullpen so one of the more experienced bullpen dudes can move to the starting roles if need be.
Right. And, their bullpen is not exactly great. Brian Workman as their closer is
spotty
decent
at best.
Yeah, and then a bunch of guys I've never even heard of. Barnes,
Yeah.
Taylor, Hernandez, Hembry, it's not inspiring.
No, it's very much so not. And the Red Sox have no prospects to speak of.
Yeah, their top prospect is Tristan Cassis, who's not expected. The ETAs for the top prospects are 2022. Okay. 2020 for Bobby Dahlbeck. It's not exactly, these guys aren't top 100 players. Put it that way.
And to go even further, somehow the Red Sox are still number 5 in total payroll. Even after moving, as I said, $43 million of payroll this year, they're still at $178.8 million of 2020 total payroll, which is, like I said, 5th most in baseball, behind the Yankees, Dodgers, Astros, and Cubs in that order, and just ahead of the Angels and Phillies, the only other two teams near them in payroll amount. And
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and so they're under the luxury tax threshold, but if their goal here is to limit spending, they've done it to whatever extent they can while still fielding something that looks like a major league roster. But this doesn't leave them a lot of flexibility to spend down the road, because this would give them the room to sign one good player.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them. Just to correct what I said, they have 2 players in the top 100, Brusdar Graterol and Tristan Cassis. Cassis is number 77. Graterol is 83. Or Graterol, excuse me.
However you say it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
So, if I am a Red Sox fan, I am probably really, really afraid. I'm definitely mad. First and foremost, I'm definitely mad. Because why would they do this? I understand that you might not be in the world's greatest position to win, but at the same time, it's not impossible, i.e. the 2013 Red Sox. But also, how are you supposed to have any confidence in your team at this point? Because they were so invested on going all in. If you look at any of the teams that got left in the wake of what Dave Dombrowski did, i.e. the Tigers, you should be pretty fucking afraid. Because if these Red Sox end up being like the Tigers, oh man, I'm happy about it. But like, oh wow,
Yeah, this is kind of a situation that the bottom can fall out any minute.
yeah, no
Um,
team is immune to it.
you know, I hate to say it, but I don't think the Red Sox should be holding on to Bogarts, holding on to Devers, Sale, Rodriguez, JD Martinez, Benintendi. I think they need to clear house and just avoid treading water. Like we were talking about it, we're debating whether or not they're going to be above or below 500. They're going to be around that range, 500 plus or minus 5 games or so. That's not going to get you anywhere. That's not going to build your farm system. That's not going to make you a contender. I think it's time for them to kind of, sell the house.
Not only that, but I would venture to say that a team in today's baseball environment would rather lose 100 games than win 80.
Right.
Because then your payroll's down, you have a high draft pick, and you're just in a better spot for the following season than you actually would have been if you had only won 80, because your draft pick sucks. Chances are you still had to run a decent payroll, and you're still at least 10 wins away from being seriously competitive. And these days, where teams win 100 games, you're more like 15 to 20 games away from being seriously competitive. Teams, I think, would rather bottom out these days and then work their way back up, a la the Padres, the Tigers, the Orioles, the Mets, the Phillies. Like, it's common as shit what the Giants are doing now.
Yeah.
So
I guess, the Padres or maybe the Twins even are showing that it's, we're not
viable.
seeing them come back to the competitive phase, but we can see they're on the cusp of it. The Twins are competing now. The Padres right there, and they're probably a better example of teams choosing to bottom out and rebuild through the farm. And it works,
Yeah. And the White Sox as well. I should shout out them. They've been doing very well.
That's a great example.
So this season will tell. Like you said, they do have a lot of pieces that would make sense for them to move. I'm willing to bet that if this trade happened a month ago, when JD Martinez had his opt-out clause due, he probably would have opted out instead of staying on this team. Not even to, like, I don't know, get more money like most opt-out clauses are used for, but probably just because this ship is sinking, and a good player on a bad team is a sad dude.
Yeah.
He probably would rather go elsewhere. So I'm going to imagine that's going to be a discussion point for some players in the locker room as the season goes forward. Plus, with the Red Sox front office probably wanting to move on from some people as well in an attempt to further shed payroll and gain flexibility, as well as just keeping payroll down, keeping players, acquiring more capital in their farm system, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with baseball right now? Are there any other trades that occurred?
Yeah, the Angels trade. Yeah.
Jock Peterson.
Yeah, so Jock Peterson is gone. He, as well as apparently Ross Stripling, are off to Anaheim, where they will be there now. So, all right. It's Jock Peterson, Andy Pages, and Ross Stripling, all going in exchange for Luis Rengifo, and a tweet I just saw said also 2 more prospects. So what I can only assume this is about is the Dodgers felt just like they were overcrowded and wanted to move on from some players before they had to pay them. Jock Peterson has been in the league now for 6 years, so I'm going to assume this is the final year of his contract, of his rookie deal, since that would make sense. He has been a decent player for his entire career. He's been a really nice hitter for the bulk of it. Nothing outlandish. Like, he's never batted over a 130 OPS plus, but he's been above 110 every year except for 2017. And he's always been like a positive WAR dude. Like he is, again, aside from 2017, he's a reliable outfield bat.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it weird is I didn't think the Angels needed that. So
no, outfield was probably the one position the Angels needed least of all.
Yeah. So Ross Stripling makes a little bit more sense because god damn do the Angels need pitching. And before we saw that Ross Stripling was part of this trade, that's what I was going to give them a world of shit for yet again. Because so many possibly good pitchers have gone elsewhere. So many flyers have gone elsewhere this offseason that like you just want to grab the entire Angels organization and shake them and say, why? But Ross Stripling can be good. In 2018,
he was an all-star.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. 2018 was an all-star. 122
Stole that
innings.
from you. My
You did.
apologies.
3.02 ERA. Like he has the possibility to be good, but like all right, I'll put it this way. Credit to them. I'm glad they did it. It needed to be done, that they got a pitcher, and this trade is super lopsided in their favor because the Dodgers were just trying to kind of move on from some people and get underneath the required number of players on their active roster. But at the same time, it's like you only got this because it fell in your lap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish they were more engaged. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's really just they were the lucky team to be able to take advantage of Dodgers needing to shed a lot of payroll and basically just clear room for these guys to come in. I mean, Luis Renfrigo, however you pronounce it, that they sent out is a young guy, but he's not exactly a top-tier prospect or a guy that's going to make a huge difference for the team.
No. He'll probably go down the minors.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a huge win for them, but I don't want to say it because I don't know how. It's too little, too late, almost.
Oh, it feels that way. It really does.
Yeah, it's like, yes, you're improving your team still, and you should always be making these kind of trades whenever you can. But Ross Stripling isn't the guy to save your pitching staff. Jock Peterson. Yeah, he's going to help your outfield out, but not exactly the most important guy you could be getting. But then again, at the same time, they're getting him for free, so he's going to fill in for right field for them. They needed a right fielder. We all kind of assumed that it was going to be Joe Adele at some point this season. This kind of buys them some time to let him grow a little bit more. Their depth chart now in the outfield is Mike Trout in center field, Justin Upton in left, and Jock Peterson in right. And then, do you want to go through the rest of their depth chart?
So hold on. Yes, I do. Also, though, something I saw is that there's heavy consideration that Jock Peterson might end up playing a lot of first base this year.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And then what would happen from there is it'd be a platoon between Jock Peterson and Albert Pujols to cut down on Pujols' playing time. So Pujols would only go in if they're playing against lefties, and then Jock Peterson would go in when they're facing righties. Jock Peterson, who did not play any first base until this past season, in 2019, he did have a number of reps at first. I'm trying to find the exact number here. In first, he had 20 games at first base out of the 139 games he appeared in. 149 games he appeared in. 20 of them were at first base. So it's a position almost anyone in the major leagues can play. Like, it is the least defensively responsible position. So he certainly can, and that would make it more interesting, and that would give them room to bring up Joe Adele when it is convenient for them to do so. And by that I mean manipulate service time. Because let's be real. So if I had to guess, I still want to hear the whole depth chart, but if I had to guess, I would say that right field's going to be Jock Peterson / Joe Adele, basically just warming the seat, and then Jock would go to first when that happens. But give me the whole thing.
So I said the outfield: first base, Albert Pujols; second base, Tommy La Stella; shortstop, Andrelton Simmons; and then third base, Anthony Rendon, with David Fletcher being Mr. Super Utility. DH, Shohei Ohtani and Albert Pujols; catcher, Jason Castro, excuse me. And then they have a rotation of Shohei Ohtani, Andrew Heaney, Julio Teheran, Dylan Bundy, Griffin Canning.
And now likely Ross
Stripling
Stripling
somewhere.
Yeah. Who's the left fielder? I don't think I heard it.
Justin Upton.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Man, it's just a weird team.
Yeah, it's one of those where they have a lot of really good players in a lot of positions, and then just black holes in others. Like, I guess we can't really say right field now, but Albert Pujols at base, Jason Castro at catcher, DH when Ohtani's pitching. There's a lot of holes there. I mean, David Fletcher's a good guy to fill in when you need him, but I don't know if he's going to be the kind of guy that you want playing, or you know what I mean. Like, he's not.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Star player there.
Yeah, I'd say the holes are second base. I know Tom La Stella had a good season last year, and I want to believe in it, but I am naturally skeptic, and until he does it again, I don't care. So I would say that there's definitely a small hole, but a hole there. First base and right field are going to be question marks until they're not. Right. And Jock can be good. Jock can be bad. Joe Adell can be good. Joe Adell can be bad. Albert Pujols can be good. Albert Pujols can be bad. Like, there's a lot that can happen with those two spots. Not that they are the two most important positions, but it leaves a lot in flux for that offense. Not so much their defense, but for their offense.
Mm-hmm.
All that to the side, that pitching rotation is still ridiculously stupid, and not in a good way. It's fucking questionable. Super fucking questionable. And I think that they're hoping to win all their games 8-6 because that's the best chance they got.
I feel like that's pitching staff is going to I hope it's going to be a pitching staff that's full of, this year's Lance Lynn and, these surprise guys from last year that were able to put it together seemingly out of nowhere. Because they're going to have to, because otherwise it's not looking great for them.
No, it's not.
There's so much injury potential there.
Oh, well, it's the Angels, so that's just a given.
Yeah, true.
Luckily, though, that team will probably be fun. Like, all the players they have are pretty fun. The left side of their infield is super fun. So, at least they have that.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great defensive team, at least, in the important positions. So they have that going for them to kind of hold up their questionable pitching.
And they have Mike Trout.
And they have Mike Trout, so that's all you really need.
That's all any of us really need. I think that's it for baseball at this point. I think that's all there was. But that was some heavy shit.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I really didn't think that Mookie Betts, if you told me this offseason before it started, like at the end of last season, that Mookie Betts was going to be traded and not Francisco Lindor. Because, like, not even that Francisco Lindor should have been traded, but it was just talked about so heavily for it to not happen and instead Mookie Betts to get traded. Like, wow. I mean, my God.
I can't say that I'm not happy that it was Betts over Lindor, but yeah,
of course.
It's something.
Shall we talk about some football stuff?
Let's talk about football.
All right. We can talk about the awards nominations, or winners, I should say, in regards to our bold predictions. So,
yeah. You want to start off with the awards or the prediction? Let's
start with the awards. Yeah. I'll go first because you're going to be closer. Offensive Rookie of the Year is what I have first. Is that what you have?
I'm on NFL.com. I have Pepsi Rookie of the Year.
No, I mean on your
Oh, on my sheet,
sheet.
I have MVP, but I can do rookie.
All right. Well, we're gonna. Yeah, I'm going first. So we're going with my order. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray won Offensive Rookie of the Year. I had Josh Jacobs. So no good. Who'd you have?
Are you going off of your midway awards or beginning of the season?
I did beginning of the season because you're the only one of us who wrote down midway.
All right, never mind then. I had David Montgomery winning Offensive Rookie of the Year over Kyler Murray as my AFC candidate. And then halfway through, I changed my prediction to Josh Jacobs. So I'm wrong all around. But yeah, Kyler Murray kind of, I don't want to say the obvious because there were other good candidates, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, like we said, but Kyler Murray's the quarterback. He's the first overall pick. They're going to give him the award.
Although I am kind of salty about it because what do you think? What do you think? Not Josh Jacobs. What do you think Kyler Murray's QB rating was this year?
Oh, 85.
56.
Holy fuck. Really?
56.
And they gave him Rookie of the Year?
Oh, sorry, that's QBR. QBR. Sorry, his quarterback
Oh,
rating was 87.4.
Okay.
Oh my god. All right, that makes so much more sense.
It's still not great,
No.
but damn. All right.
All right. Oof. Take a breath. All right, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I had the optimistic pick of Quentin Williams. It was Nick Bosa. Who'd you have?
I also had the homer pick of Devin Bush. Nick Bosa was my NFC pick and my midway pick. But man, I was hoping Devin Bush could continue on with that early season. Just great play, but yeah, Nick Bosa 100% deserves it. You know,
He
was
does.
phenomenal all year long.
We both put down a Rookie of the Year award because at least I did because I couldn't remember if they had a generic overall Rookie of the Year award, and because I could have sworn I remembered Dak and the Dak and Zeke situation, but I remembered it wrong. So that doesn't matter. I had Daniel Jones, which wouldn't have happened, but did you have anything for that?
I don't have anything written down, but I'm gonna go with Nick Bosa at this point. I probably want Devin Bush if we did it beginning of the season, and then Nick Bosa at midway.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's not an actual award, so it doesn't fucking matter apparently.
Yeah,
Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, we can do anything we want. Offensive Player of the Year. I was so close. I had Alvin Kamara. It was actually his teammate Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I had Saquon Barkley and then Christian McCaffrey halfway through. So I was wrong.
Yeah, this definitely feels like Mike, please stop complaining.
Yeah, no kidding.
Defensive player.
He didn't deserve it though, because
Oh yeah, great year.
Record, 1,700 receiving yards. He had a good season.
Yeah, like absolutely. Defensive player of the year. I went with the homer pick of Jamal Adams. It was actually cornerback from the Patriots, Stephon Gilmore.
I went Myles Garrett. I was wrong.
Yeah. No, instead he got suspended forever. For MVP, I went out of the box and picked Phillip Rivers. He is going to get fired. Instead, it was Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I went Pat Mahomes. That was kind of my safe pick throughout all this. He was in contention, but he did not win.
Yeah, my next pick looks even worse. For Coach of the Year, I picked Adam Gase, and it was not Adam Gase. It was John Harbaugh.
That's rough.
Yeah.
I picked Mike Zimmer.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't win it either.
No.
Yeah.
And
also,
finally,
I just want to say I picked the Vikings to win the Super Bowl.
I actually didn't write down who I wanted to pick the Super Bowl, and I'm glad I didn't because I would have gotten it wrong.
Yeah, I had the Vikings over the Steelers. Oops.
Well, bud, you were wrong, as I would have been too. And finally, comeback player of the year, I wrote down Jimmy Garoppolo or whatever, and instead it was Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Tannehill kind of came out of nowhere the second half of the year. Definitely, I would say, is deserving of it. I picked Earl Thomas myself, who had himself a quiet year, but I feel like comeback's always the hardest player to pick because unless there's an obvious player that was hurt or was out for most of the season, it's hard to come up with those, you know.
Yeah, that's a tricky award to kind of pick out. Not that we got any of these right, but still.
No. Did either of us get anything right?
No, we got all of them wrong.
Oh, nice.
Which brings us to our bold predictions. So my first one was Kyler Murray posts a losing record and finishes with the QBR below 80. He did finish with a losing record, 5-10-1, although it's in large part because the Cardinals are bad. And his QB rating was 87.4, as I said previously. So I get half credit, which I basically had, I think, last time we did this. So you can look at half credit as no credit. You can look at half credit as half credit. Up to you. I'm taking half credit.
My number one was Dalvin Cook leads the NFL in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Yeah, so he only played in 14 games compared to 15, 16 for the rest of the NFL. Finished 10th in rushing yards with 1,135. As for touchdowns, he finished fourth with 13, behind Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones with 16 and Christian McCaffrey with 15. So close, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So that's a big old 0 for me.
My next one, I have the Rams offense does not finish in the top 5. I got this one right. Los Angeles finished overall. I think we went by yards for this because that was like the generic way that most places do it. They finished number 7.
Yeah.
7th in yards with just under 6,000, 5,998. And in points for, they finished 11th, 394. So by any metric you want, out of the top 5.
Is Sean McVay not a good head coach anymore?
Nope, too short. Can't see over any obstacles.
All right, my number 2, Myles Garrett falls just short of NFL sack record, but leads the league with 21. I'm not going to talk about this one. Yeah.
I'm just going to read my next 2 because they tie into each other. Oh man, all of these are wrong. I'll just go one at a time to keep it normal. Tom Brady doesn't play the whole season. Tom Brady did play the whole season. I got this one wrong.
All right, my next one. The Steelers defense finishes top 5 by DVOA. They finished 3rd, so I finally got one right. If you go to Football Outsiders, they kind of have the DVOA rankings. It goes by negative percentage as the highest, which is a weird way to do it, but whatever. They also have a weighted defense ranking, which basically earlier games in the season are weighted less than later games, so you could see how the team was playing by the end of the season. And they had a huge lead as the number 1 team in WEI defense, full 4% higher than the next closest team, which was Baltimore. Just for reference, they had 20. Fuck it, never mind. Nobody cares. Let's move on.
Yeah. My next one was the Patriots missed the playoffs. The Patriots did not miss the playoffs. I got this one
wrong. My next one, Devin Bush leads the league in tackles. He was not even close. Actually, let me see if I could find where he finished. He finished, let's see, 25th in solo tackles. And if we go with combined, oh my God, there's so many players. He finished 31st with 109. So did not get this one right.
All right. My next one is Antonio Brown leads all wide receivers in yards. He played in 1 game all season, so not right.
So did you get it?
I was close. If he had played 15 more games, I would have got there. Maybe.
Giants bench Eli for Daniel Jones after week 6, only to bench Jones for Eli later in the season. No, this did not happen in any capacity.
So my next one, I'm trying to see how many I got, because it's 8+ head coaches get fired before the season ends. And how many did get fired? It wasn't 8, but it was a lot.
I actually I don't know off the top of my head.
John Gruden got fired.
Yeah.
Did the Browns head coach, did Freddie Kitchens get fired?
Yes.
Granted, that was not before the season ends, but like, let's just loosen that up for a second. Ron Rivera got fired. Right?
Who?
Ron Rivera.
Yes.
Anyone in the AFC South get fired? Not yet, right?
So
it was rumored that Doug Marrone was going to, but then he didn't.
Jason Garrett got fired.
Jason Garrett got fired.
3.
Oh, Pat Shurmur got fired.
Pat Shurmur.
Anyone in the AFC?
And then so there was 5 total.
Yeah, no one else. No one in the NFC North.
Redskins, Giants. I'm just looking through a big list here. Cowboys, Browns, and Panthers.
All right, so I was a little bit more than halfway there. I can't count it, but it was close-ish. Yeah.
So my next one was Jameis Winston leads the NFC in touchdowns and interceptions. He did do that. He was first in the NFL in passes intercepted with 30. A full 9 more than the next closest, which was Baker Mayfield, who was just 1 ahead of MVP Phillip Rivers. And then Jameis Winston finished second in the NFL behind only Lamar Jackson with 33 touchdowns. So I got another one right.
There you go, buddy.
I'm so happy.
My next one's not even close. Brian Hoyer takes the Colts to the playoffs, and he wasn't a starter all season, and the Colts didn't make the playoffs. So nope.
Let's see. My next one is Chris Godwin and Tyler Lockett finished the season both as wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 1s in fantasy football. Chris Godwin finished the season despite being injured as the number 2 wide receiver. And then Tyler Lockett here finished as 15. I don't know. You play fantasy football. Is that enough to be a wide receiver 1 in your mind? Top 15?
I guess technically it is. Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on your league size. I'll give myself half a point for this because Chris Godwin definitely was. Tyler Lockett was close. You know what? Fuck it. They were both right there. I get a point. I score myself.
There you go. My next one is the Detroit Lions win the NFC North. They did, and I lost. Next one.
Evan Engram leads the Giants in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. Evan Engram only started 6 games. He did not do either.
My next one is the Jacksonville defense can't put it together, and that the offense carries them to 6 wins. The Jacksonville Jaguars won. I don't remember how many games. I'm looking it up super fast because I didn't have it in front of me. Games. Oh, look at that. I don't know if their offense won it for them, but they definitely won 6 games. And their offense finished in terms of yards allowed. Scrolling down, 24th. And in terms of points scored, they finished, where are you, Jacksonville? Not high, that's for sure. I'm looking. I don't see them. Oh my goodness. I think they just fell off the face of the fucking earth. Oh, there they are, 21st. So their defense sucked. And their offense was bright at times. There's 6 wins. They won the first one 20-7. That's I don't know. They won their second one 26-24. They won their third game 27-17. Their fourth game 29-15. Their fifth one 20-16, and their last one 38-20. So I'm gonna say I'm right, because what you can't tell me I'm not.
You're right. I can't.
So yeah, there you go. Fuck you. You're up.
Josh Rosen starts the season as a backup, yet finishes the season leading the league in sacks. He did start the season as a backup and then finished 32nd in sacks with 16. The leader was Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson, all with 48. So this is not right.
And my last one is the Miami Dolphins released new uniforms/logos this year to distract from a terrible season, and they didn't, which is shocking.
Yeah, not really, since they couldn't, but yeah, whatever.
So I get 2 out of 10 ish.
My last one, Antonio Brown plays up to his contract, and his contract was voided, which means he doesn't have a contract, so he kind of lived up to it. But I can't. I'm not even gonna try and pull that one. So I got 3 out of 10. I am the victor. I am the smartest man on the planet. Fuck you, Josh. Suck my dick.
You are welcome. I let you win. This was a season-long ploy that you fell for.
Oh god.
And I can't wait to do it again next year.
Oh, 100%.
Anything else with football?
I mean, there's some other awards that really don't matter all that much. Calais Campbell won Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Well, that one I would say matters a lot. We just didn't predict it.
It matters a lot, but it's hard for us to talk about without really knowing a lot about any of the candidates and whatnot.
Yeah, but it's not one you can even remotely readily predict. Like, we can say we got close on a few predictions because players performed up to what you thought they would, and they just didn't win because someone else performed even greater. But like, you can't predict someone's charitable output in a year.
Yep, I agree. Especially since we're not, actively, and we can't really actively follow everything all these players do, in their own time, charity-wise. So,
yeah, especially because it's not even like positional. It can't be like, all right, which offensive lineman gave the most to the Boys and Girls Club this year? Like, it's every player on every team. Like, that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not happening.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that I didn't write down, which usually happens.
Well, then, we're over an hour, so let's call it.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, if you want to follow the show on Instagram, nope, we don't have that. I haven't done that in so long. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at JuicingPod. If you want to hit us up via email, you can do so at juicingthenumbers@gmail.com. And until Monday, y'all have a good one.
Bye.